Hey guys, welcome back to the studio after a pretty crazy match in which we saw the death of a flag bell. Hopefully we can show the fit of that on stream in a bit, if they can get the magic technology that I don't understand to work. However, before we go into analysis of that match, we must talk about the White Legion NC Dot match. That match was crazy. We saw a flagship Rattlesnake Victory Edition from White Legion die. We also saw NC Dot bring out a Fiend, and that's especially crazy because it was piloted by DHB Wildcat, who was given that Fiend by Pandemic Legion for outing the collusion between Hydra Reloaded and the Camel Empire last year. So that match was absolutely insane. I'm really sad we couldn't see it. However, on to the match we did see now between CO2 versus COF. As I said, we saw Flagship Bell go down. We saw two very non-standard teams go at it there. Jintan, why don't you tell us a little bit about the teams we saw?
Yeah, the CO2 setup was very, very interesting. It was effectively an armour-heavy tackle comp where they sent their Vigilance and all of their frigates in to grab on and latch a hold of the COF team, whilst their Macarials and a couple of other of their support ships pulled away. But unfortunately, it looked like their Aneros experienced some diffidifficulties in that and got tackled.
By difficulties, you mean he exploded, right?
Yeah, by difficulties, I mean he died horribly. Which normally, if you're flying a rep-based team, you won't have any buffer fit, so things can go south for your battleships very, very quickly. But it looked like they either had plates fitted or there was something very interesting going on there. So
yeah, we spoke briefly in the break about this. So normally the idea is when you've got a logistics-based setup that you reduce your buffer and go full resistances so that the repairs are more effective when they land on your ship. So you want resistances, but the problem that gives you is that if your logistics dies really, really early, you're then going to die quite quick because you have no reps to be effective at all on you. But they seem to last okay in this setup, which means they probably have plates fit. A lot of we were discussing it, basically saying that, well, if you have plates fit in that kind of setup, then maybe that's not the way you should fit it. But in this case, it seems to have worked for them.
Suboptimal fitting for suboptimal flying.
Oh, you did see your CSM friend, the judge, down the match.
Yes.
She was the Macarial that didn't get scrambled by a sacrilege. So a little bit superior piloting there. Macarials should not be caught by sacrileges, really. But however, it did happen in that case. Next match we've got coming up quite shortly, actually, only a few minutes away. We have the Tuskers versus Waffles, a highly anticipated match for today. Tuskers go. Amazing tournament team. They joined the scene 3 years ago. They won the recent Event Collides competition. Tuskers at the top of the game. They are absolutely incredible pilots. Amazing tournament team. Suleiman Shua, fantastic pilot, really knowledgeable at the AT. They've gained a lot of members from the Hard Knock Citizens team from last year as well, really pulling in even more talent into an already stacked setup. The Waffles team, I love them to bits. I was in Waffles a couple of years ago. Historically, not as strong as Tuskers, but still a team in the tournament.
Well, they are being led by the person who took Brave into very deep last tournament, and they're notably not the best of pilots. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does with some small gang specialists. Yeah,
I mean, Waffles are kind of famous for bringing the exact counter to what their opponents bring and then kind of losing anyway, unfortunately. They do the best they can. I mean, Rocket, you're in PL. You have been for some time now. Waffles have been a feeder corp to our corp Sniggertly, and then recently with Waffles 2.0 they've kind of changed what their plan is. I mean, from a PL perspective, how do you see the relationship with Waffles and how do you view Waffles as an alliance these days?
Well, I mean, like, Waffles has always been its own individual entity, but I think a lot of people consider Waffles to be a pet corp of PL, and really they've recently, I know I've spoken to Reza, the Waffles CEO, quite a lot, and he's taken it. They've really stepped it up. They're now full on low sec. They've gone the low sec pilot route. Basically, they'll throw around T3s. They're building a cat fleet, moving around, hitting people, and they've really stepped it up. And I think I'd like to see them go further in the tournament, but I think they're going to struggle in this match because I think Tuskers is not only a contender for this match, but possibly for the tournament title as well.
Yeah, I mean, Tuskers, Jintan are known for just extreme piloting ability. A lot of people were analogizing them to, stylistically speaking, the Hydra Reloaded or the Camel Empire of last year, where it's very, very tight setups with a very, very high piloting skill ceiling and letting their execution really carry them through and just showcasing exceptional piloting ability through. I mean, as somebody who watches the Tuskers from the sidelines that won't necessarily fight them that often, what is your view on the Tuskers on TQ as a null block alliance?
They kick the shit out of me in faction warfare.
You care to elaborate on that?
It's a very
I've fed many a frigate. But no, they're like you said, they're an execution heavy team, and they're one of Nash Kadaba, the guy who's organised this whole stream. They're his favourites to win this whole tournament, so place your bets now.
I'm pretty sure Nash is still in Snig. That's not very...
Patriotic.
You should absolutely go to eve-bet.com to place all your ISK on the Alliance tournament this year. I've heard that the EveBet servers are actually struggling because so many people are going there. Guys, let's play so much money that they crash. Let's go for it. Let's bet as much money as possible and win you guys as much money as possible for predicting these matches well. Okay, going into this match, again we have a situation where we have a kind of a lesser known team, kind of a mid-tier team or even lower tier team, as Chester would call them, going up against tournament giants. I mean, new to the scene compared to, say, a PL or an Exodus, but absolute heavyweights in Tuskers. What do you guys think a good tactic is against a team where you think that you definitely are the underdog?
Bring an absolute hard counter to something you think is going to be a generic setup. That's the way to do it. Just bring something that like shits on either Navy Scorps or Fleet Typhoons. Expect them to be thinking 3 matches ahead, 4 matches ahead to, we don't want to show our setups here, and bring the absolute hardest counter you can to that setup.
Yeah, so very quickly then, Jintan, predictions for who's going to win?
Waffles, because I have faith.
Yes, Rocket.
I'm going to have to say Tuskers, I'm afraid.
Waffles, I believe in you. My friends, you can do it. Let's go to the commentators.
Just not quite that much.
I'll take my bribe now, Pierre.